There's a pomegranate cut open on a kitchen counter somewhere right now, and for a lot of the people eating one, it's doing considerably less than they think. Not because the fruit is overrated in general, because of something specific and genuinely strange about how one of its compounds works. Whether it does anything depends almost entirely on which bacteria happen to be living in your gut. And that's not something you chose. Let me walk you through it because there's a real mechanism here. And then there's an argument about it that I think tells you a lot about how this industry works. Start with the chemistry. Pomegranates are the richest common source of a family of compounds called ellagitannins. You'll also find them in walnuts, pecans, raspberries, blackberries, and strawberries. Now, if you just read the label, you'd think eating those means absorbing those. It doesn't work that way. Ellagitannins get broken down in the upper part of your digestive tract into ellagic acid. And ellagic acid on its own isn't particularly useful to you either. It's poorly absorbed. What matters is what happens next further down in your colon. There, certain species of gut bacteria take ellagic acid through a series of chemical steps and convert it into a family of molecules called urolithins. The one that's attracted the most attention is urolithin A. And urolithin A is interesting for a specific reason. It triggers mitophagy. If you've watched my video on autophagy, this is the specialized version of that. Autophagy is the cell recycling its own components. Mitophagy is that process aimed specifically at mitochondria. Here's why that matters. Your mitochondria wear out. They accumulate damage, their membranes degrade, their efficiency drops. And a mitochondrion that's running badly isn't neutral. It produces less ATP and generates more reactive byproducts. So your cells need a way to identify the worn-out ones, dismantle them, and recycle the components. That's mitophagy. It's quality control. And it tends to decline with age, which is exactly when you'd want it working best. Urolithin A activates that process. In preclinical work, it's been described as one of the more potent naturally occurring mitophagy activators identified. And there's human work showing it produces measurable changes in markers of mitochondrial health. So far, this sounds like a straightforward recommendation. Eat pomegranates. Here's where it stops being straightforward. You cannot eat urolithin A. It essentially doesn't exist in food. It only exists if your bacteria make it. And not everyone's bacteria can. The species that have been identified as capable of these conversions are fairly specific. Gordonobacter, Ellagibacter, certain members of a genus called Enterocloster. If you're not carrying the right ones, the raw material passes through and you get very little of the finished product. Researchers tested this directly. They took 100 healthy adults, gave them pomegranate juice, and measured what came out. Around 40% showed significant conversion into urolithin A. The other 60% produced trace amounts or none. Not because they ate less, because their microbiome didn't contain the machinery. That's a striking finding. It means two people can follow identical dietary advice in good faith for years and get completely different results for reasons neither of them can see or control. Now, I want to slow down here because this is where I'd normally tell you what to do about it, and instead I want to show you something about the evidence. That 40% figure gets quoted constantly, and it is the basis of an entire product category. If most people can't make urolithin themselves, the obvious solution is to buy it ready-made, which is exactly what several companies now sell. So let's look at where the figure comes from. That study's own stated purpose was to investigate the prevalence of urolithin A producers and to demonstrate that direct supplementation overcomes both microbiome and dietary variability. That's not a hidden agenda. It's in the paper's title and objective. The work sits within the commercial ecosystem built around selling urolithin A. I'm not saying the data are fabricated. I have no reason to think that, and the finding is plausible. What I'm saying is that when a study's conclusion is you probably can't do this yourself, and the same world sells the thing that does it for you, that's worth noticing. And here's the thing that made me actually pause. A paper published in Nature Communications states, in its opening lines, that most individuals harbor a microbiota capable of urolithin A production. Most individuals. That's close to the opposite of 40%. Now, these can be partially reconciled. There's a difference between carrying bacteria that have some capacity and converting efficiently enough to produce meaningful circulating levels. Measurement methods differ. Diet matters because these bacteria need regular exposure to the substrate. But the honest summary is that the size of this problem is genuinely unsettled, and the most pessimistic number is the one being repeated most often by the people who benefit from it being true. That's the pattern I'd like you to take away, more than the specific fact. Alright, what can you actually do? Here's the good part, and it required no inference on my part today. Exercise triggers mitophagy directly in humans, and the evidence is unusually clear. A study on acute resistance exercise found that a single bout initiates mitophagy in human skeletal muscle, with visible mitophagosome structures in the muscle tissue afterward. Another found that exercise increases autophagy markers in human muscle within the first 2 hours of recovery, and that 8 weeks of training increases the capacity for autophagy and mitophagy regulation. So it's not just an acute spike. Training raises your baseline ability to run the process. And there's a study whose title is almost the summary of this video. Regular endurance exercise promotes fission, mitophagy, and oxidative phosphorylation in human skeletal muscle, independently of age. That last part matters because mitophagy is one of the things that declines as we get older. No conversion step, no bacteria to hope for, no lottery. It works in the people who do it, and it costs nothing. Now, where does my own recommendation sit today? It sits out. Urolithin A is not in Mytilin. It's not in what I promote, and I'm not going to blur that because blurring it is exactly how this niche loses people's trust. Mytilin is PQQ and CoQ10. Those work on the electron transport chain, which is about running the machinery. Today's video is about clearing out machinery that's already broken. Related territory, genuinely different job. So today's answer is the free one. Move. That's the intervention with direct human evidence for the exact process I've spent this video describing. If you're interested in the machinery side, the link in the description below is an affiliate link to Mytilin, with a 90-day money-back guarantee. But I'd be misleading you if I suggested it does what we've been talking about today. And if you appreciate a channel that tells you when the thing it sells isn't the answer, subscribe. This video is educational only, and it's not medical advice. Talk to your doctor before starting new or more intense exercise or changing your diet.